My second grade class incorporated centers in order to cover our social studies standard to identify national celebrations. Over the course of 3 days, my students participated in a total of 5 centers that integrated social studies reading and writing standards. Each center lasted 15 minutes approximately, and I found that my students were very well engaged due to the release of power. Students were investigating on their own, leaving me to be more of a facilitator and monitor. For Center 1, students were given the essential question, what did the Pilgrims bring on their voyage to America? For this center, they were completing the task of a cut and paste of what items would and would not have been on the Mayflower, and the task of finding items they would bring on a trip that they would take today.
It was freezing cold. Hey, some of the pilgrims died. I know, they need clothes. And they need a blanket.
For Center 2, the essential question was, what happened on the voyage of the Mayflower? The students' task was to read a passage about the Mayflower together as a group and answer comprehension questions. Then students were to compare the Mayflower voyage to a modern trip taken in a car. For Center 3, the essential question was, what was the daily life like for the Pilgrims and the Wampanoags? Their task was to scan a QR code to read through the daily life of both groups. They were able to choose from housing, clothing, food, chores, school, and games. Center 4's essential question was, what is the importance of giving thanks? After reading through the definition of Thanksgiving, students were asked to create a list together of things that they were thankful for. Individually, students then were allowed to create an acrostic poem for Thanksgiving.
I am thankful for the world. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for the school Mary Austin. I'm thankful for my friends. I'm thankful for my teacher. I'm thankful for my principal.
Center 5's essential question was, why do we celebrate Thanksgiving? Students were to complete a KWL chart before and after listening to the story of Thanksgiving. Students then were allowed to read the passage about Thanksgiving aloud as a group and continue writing more facts about things that they had learned as a group.
We have Thanksgiving Day because of the Pilgrims and Native Americans. The Pilgrims lived in England. They could not have their own.
For Center 6, the essential question was, what traditions do you have for Thanksgiving, as well as what would life be like for you as a pilgrim? Students were allowed to complete a graphic organizer and fill out the writing prompt of if I were a pilgrim or my Thanksgiving traditions. In reflection, I found that through this specific instructional strategy, students were more enthusiastic and engaged during the learning process. By incorporating different methods of teaching, including reading, writing, drawing, hearing, and moving, all learners were focused and had a want to learn. Students were excited, which in turn made me excited for them. Since instructions were written down for the students, I did not have to waste time explaining to each group what their task was. The main thing I took away from this was the incorporation of a 6th center for students who were able to go if they completed their center early. This gave my higher level students another meaningful task that allowed for 0 downtime. Although creating the center was very time consuming, I know that it will be a strategy that I will be able to pull out again for years to come.